This video is about the sine and cosine function, understanding the relationship between the graphical and algebraic representations, and how to create a model using sine and cosine function. So you see here we have a graphical representation of the basic sine function. So the graph, it looks like this. In terms of the algebra, the equation, it's y equals sine x. Now we need to understand some basic features of the or some graphical features of the basic sine function in order to understand more complicated sine functions. So the first thing is the principal axis, which is very simply the horizontal line, which is the middle of the graph. You see that the sine function is symmetrical about the x-axis in this case. So for the basic sine function, the line y equals 0, which is the x-axis, everywhere here y is 0, this is called the principal axis. The next thing we need to be aware of is the amplitude. And this is the distance between the highest point and the principal axis. It's also, of course, because of the symmetry, the distance between the lowest point and the principal axis. Or, if you prefer, it's half the distance between the maximum and minimum values. So that's amplitude. And the third thing we need to understand is the period. Now this is the distance this way, horizontal distance, or the length of a wave. It's how far you have to go before the sine or cosine curve starts to repeat itself. So to work this out, we just need a reference point. So we'll start here at the origin in this case, and then we get this wave feature here, and then it starts to repeat itself again. So that would be 360 degrees for basic sine curve, and the same is true for the cosine curve. We can measure from any point to a corresponding point. So for example, I could go from a maximum to a maximum. I could use this as my reference point. I just follow the curve, and when it starts to repeat itself here, that's the end of one period. So again, I got 90, 180, 270, 360 degrees. I'll get the same result every time. I could go from minimum to minimum. Same thing. 90, from here to here is 90, 180, 270, 360. So the period's 360 for the basic sine and cosine graphs. Now when we start looking at more complicated graphs, we need to be able to understand how amplitude, period, and the principal axis are adjusted, so that we can construct the equation, or do it the other way around. If we're given the equation, we need to be able to look at that and understand graphical features.